Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Carmen Milagro, and this is From the Ground Up, partly sponsored by Divina. Besides being your host today, I'm an entrepreneur artist, a certified CBD consultant, a master certified CBD wellness coach, author, and instructor of the truths about hemp CBD. And I'm also the co-founder of CBD University. What does all of that have to do with anything? Well, we all start somewhere, and usually in whatever career you're in, most people tend to start from the ground up. But regardless of where you start, the point is when you do start, how do you navigate everything? How do you navigate the challenges and celebrate the wins? So on this show, we're lucky because we get to speak to a variety of experts. We hear their stories, ask advice, we learn from them, and hopefully we're inspired too. I'm very fortunate that I've been able to speak to some of the world's most successful people in different areas and from all walks of life. We talk about all kinds of things: family, hope, careers, business, wellness strategies, whatever comes up. Some of my guests are developers, some are journalists, authors, musicians, tech gurus, artists, property investors, coaches, and international speakers, or some, like today's guest, are all three. Her name is Joanna Whittaker. Joanna invests in properties in the UK and Spain, which gives her a sound understanding of the world market. She says she loves renovating, extending, and giving new life to old and neglected buildings, but it wasn't always like this. She's had her fair share of mistakes and drama, like many of us. At one point, she had to juggle 2 jobs, school runs, and manage her unsupportive family. Back then, she didn't have a coach to help her out, and she had to learn the hard and slow way. But now she helps others avoid that painful journey. Today, as a single woman and a mother, she's achieved financial freedom and created a dream life for herself and her family. Welcome, Joanna. How are you?
Hello, Carmen. Hello, everybody.
I know it's evening time for you. Where are you? Where are you joining us from?
Well, right now I'm in the UK. I live very close to London. So, yes. Last week I was in Spain. This week I'm in the UK. Next week, not sure, somewhere in Europe. It's life. It's life. But yes, now it's 7 p.m. in the UK, and it's dark now outside.
I know. Okay, so it's not too late. Sometimes with time differences, it's 2 a.m. So that's not too bad. And I know that you're busy, and I know you have family. So we're gonna just kind of jump right in. If you don't mind, tell us a little bit about you as a young woman growing up. I mean, have you always been traveling? Have you tell us a little bit about how you got started. I know that if I recall, you were born in Poland, but you didn't grow up there. Is that correct?
I grew up there up until I was a teenager. But then when I was a teenager, I think I've always had that kind of traveling streak, and I just wanted to see the world. And back then it wasn't that easy, but like when you want it, you just like make it happen. And I think I always do that. When I just want something, it just stays in my mind and until it happens. So I left Poland, and I came to England, and then from England I lived in France, in Spain, spent some time in America recently. So it's kind of, the world is getting smaller and smaller.
Right. And the world is your oyster when you decide to make it so.
Completely. Everything is possible. And do you know what? Now I even believe even more that everything is possible. You just need to want it badly enough, I think.
I think that's the first step. I agree. How do you wish, if you could go back and maybe change some things on your journey, how do you wish that you had been better supported before you became, the business woman and the coach and the international speaker? How would you have changed that part of your journey for yourself?
I think I've always been I say the captain of my own ship. I'm a captain. I'm a captain of the tall ship, And I always like to set my own path and set my own journey. But I know that quite often it's especially when you're young and don't have that experience, looking back, I could have avoided quite a few mistakes. So but we kind of live and learn, and I think the mistakes, as long as, they're not really like mistakes, it's just sometimes we have to learn the hard way. If there was somebody who could hold our hand, of course we would go much further, much faster, which is what I'm trying to do right now. I mean, like, I believe that everybody can own their own house. Everybody could buy a house. You don't need money. You just need a better strategy, but you need to know. And there is no one way. Everybody is doing it in a different way. So, I'm kind of trying to reach out to as many people and say, well, you can do it. You can do it. And help to find a way. And it doesn't really involve just people in the UK or people in America. I've got somebody who reached out from Australia, and I was like, oh my God, how did you manage to find out? But I guess it is what it is. The world is so small right now.
Right. No, absolutely. So what I hear you saying is, it would be nice. I think a lot of us, and also it depends on where we are in our lives. Our age certainly plays a part of it. And we can look back and say, I wish that I had this kind of support. I wish that I had a coach. I wish that I knew that coaches existed, that sort of thing. So that's what I'm hearing you say.
Completely.
You've been a single mother, and yet you learned how to do these investments in these properties with your own money and no money down. I want to sort of drill down on that no money down, because I think that is going to capture people's attention. Our viewers, they come back for advice and strategies from all these different people. And I hope that they are able to have these little, at least takeaway ideas. And I think this would be a good one for them.
Yes, well, we've counted recently. There is a very nice group of people, quite amazing group of people on the Clubhouse, in fact, who meet every morning, and they talk about different property strategies. They're all property investors, they educators, and they coaches, and it's a brilliant group to be part of. We've counted recently there are about 80 different ways of buying a property. 80 different ways. And lots of them, 80 different ways. Loads of them actually do not involve putting money down. You can strike a deal, you can delay completion, you can refinance, you can uplift, you can do seriously, the list is like so long. Of course, depending on the property, depending on the deal, depends who is selling, depends who is buying, in which country, what laws. There are lots of variety of ways of doing it. But can you just imagine that, like before COVID, I was traveling, sailing the ship, being outside of the UK, somewhere in the ocean. Then COVID came, and in about 3 years, I bought about 7 houses.
Wait, say that again?
And I've sold quite a few of them now. I don't keep them, I just sell them.
Right.
For me, the fun is actually renovating them. So I'm looking for the more derelict and ruined house, and I just like to give it a new life. I remodel them, I bring the new extensions, floors, rooms, attics, you name it. And then when it's all finished, I'm just like having that satisfaction of giving it to a family, well, selling it, renting it, whatever that involves, to make home there. Because in essence, that's what it is. A property, well, there are commercial properties which are different, but I like I like creating homes for people.
Right. That's beautiful.
So I take that woman's intuition and I just put that hard, and I think this is where I imagine my family would be if it was my family. And quite often, the people come in, they open the door and they say, oh my God, I can just see myself here. And I was like, yeah, that's the plan.
So the more dilapidated, the more that you enjoy that process.
The more fun.
It's a creative process, right? you're really creating an art. You're
It
creating
is.
that,
It's
that
like
art
being an
form.
artist in 3D,
Yeah,
completely. Being
I
an
love
artist in real life.
it. Yes.
You have to, it's, some people like painting pictures. They have to choose the colors, they have to choose the textures, they have to choose the medium, whether it's going to be, canvas, whether it's going to be different kind of paints.
Yes.
They've got their styles. I think that being a property renovator is exactly the same. I go into a house and all I can see is bricks and walls. And then I can move the walls, make the rooms bigger, smaller, open windows, create doors. Yeah, the world is there. I mean, like whatever I
Right.
imagine can happen. And
Yeah.
then I have to decide, is it going to be dark colors, light colors, shiny colors, bright colors? It's like being an artist. You literally have to choose everything. Then you have to choose
Right.
the soft furnishing, the carpets, the sofas, the kitchen is amazing, the bathroom is amazing, the light, oh my god, choosing light in the house, it just makes such difference.
Sure. Sure.
And then
Absolutely.
you have to imagine is it going to be, what it's going to be during the day, what it's going to be during the night? Do people
Right.
relax? Do people, yeah.
Right. That's lovely. Now I understand. I've gotten a better picture now why you and I seem to connect with one of our coaches, Frank McKinney, and now
Yeah.
it's all making sense.
Oh yes, Frank is definitely my idol. We met at Frank's book launch, and oh my god, I've read this book back to front. I think every single day. I just open it like almost like a Bible. There is something there on
Right.
every single page. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I live by Frank's philosophy and theory,
Yes.
and yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. He's been on the show a couple of times, so I'm going to reach out again because he's got a new book. So,
Yes.
um, in and I want to sort of touch on this because I've heard quite a few of my friends and colleagues, there is always the discussion, whether we like it or not, it exists. The many industries are very much male dominated. How have you dealt with that aspect of what you do? I mean, there's not that many property renovators that are female.
Yes, it's sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's very hard. And I think, sometimes I wish there was more respect for women, because women, they can see the house, they can see how the family works, they can see how it all functions. But of course, the male people, colleagues and builders especially, they've got their own ideas. I think my life has taught me a very good lesson. Ever since I was a teenager, I was sailing tow ships. Tow ships means that you have a crew, and if you're the captain, you have to tell the crew which line to pull and which rope to pull when, and which set to sail to set, and how to do the, every single part of the sailing. So I think I'm building houses in the same way. I tell people precisely what to do, when, and how. And that way they've got, of course, I take their opinion, and they've got lots more experience. Sometimes they tell me this will be better, but then I can make an educated decision. But what I don't do, I don't just give them the project and say, you do it. I'm there all the time. I'm, checking, rechecking, asking questions, making adjustments. Sometimes there is something that's set on the plan, and in real life, it doesn't quite work that way. So we had to stand there with a piece of paper and say, well, actually, do it this way, that will work better. And quite often the builders will give me much better idea of, yes, if you use this material, it will look different.
Right.
But I think it's a constant control, readjustment, reassessment, asking questions, asking the right questions at the right time. It can be done. And I think because they know that I'm having fun and kind of, I really enjoy it, they can feel the passion in it as well. So
Right.
I guess maybe that builds the trust.
Sure, absolutely. And I think I spent quite a number of years as a project manager in construction, not in residential, but in the corporate world, building out campuses. Back, I'm going to date myself a little bit. Back in the .com era, we took an account that was design, office furniture. So we had to deal with new buildings, renovating old buildings, moving into, other buildings. But we took an account that was $4 million. In a year and a half, we grew that account to $33 million. And there was only a team of 5 of us. And what I learned, one of those life lessons that I got out of that experience is just like we manage our life, the project manager, is the key person, because you're sort of, in my experience and what I was doing, I was the liaison between the client's expectations, the builders, the movers, all of it, putting it together. And so I sort of took that lesson from business and applied it to my life. If we want something done a certain way, you have to project manage it. You have to be there. You can't just walk off campus and expect things to be done the way that you need them done, especially when you are managing all men.
Yeah, that's completely, it's precisely as you said it, word by word. That's how it works. I think it's also, I know that you were an event organizer. I've done, when I did my first job, we organized big conferences and exhibitions in London. That was my first job. So trying to manage a number of people was really important, useful experience, very important. And trying to make sure, I think for me right now, that the role of renovating properties, it's like project management. It really is. You kind of arrange people, but you, the client, you've got a vision, so you do it to your own imagination, I guess, or creation. Whereas before, I had to manage lots of people, very tight deadlines, of course, and it had to work.
Yeah.
So now I'm applying the same skills, just repurposing them.
Yes, and I love this because that is something that I also, when I'm working with young people, I say that exact same thing, is whatever skill sets you learn. And yes, we're going to have growing pains. We're going to, like you said, we're going to make some mistakes, but as long as you learn from that mistake, then it's a lesson, And so, but we can take all of these skill sets. They're all valuable, and you take them along with you. That, to me, is how you build the wisdom and the knowledge and the experience, right? Sometimes you just got to do it.
And I think also, as you go through life, you've got more experiences. You can see where in life you've had that experience, that you can reuse it and repurpose it and adjust it. And I think this is where the feminine part comes in. We're just so intuitive, and you kind of think, I've done it before. I can, if it worked in that situation. And I always say, if I could manage 24 sailors on board of one ship, I can definitely deal with the builders. They're much easier.
That's great. What would you say? You're an international property, developer, property renovator. I like that, actually. What would you say the top 3 differences are, say, between working on a project in Europe versus the USA? What have you learned in that space?
I think there are a few legal aspects. So some things are easier in one country and some are different in other countries. There's also a bit of a mindset. Some, different cultures work in a different way. So I think this is where the traveling comes really useful, because I know these cultures. I can easily reapply them in different countries. For example, I was born in Poland. I can speak Polish. I know the mindset. I went to school over there. So now trying to get Polish workers to do some work is just so much easier, because they look at it from a different perspective. But on the other hand, I can talk to any Eastern Europeans. Well, I can't say Eastern, Middle Europeans, because they're not quite East anymore. But they're so multi-skilled. They're so talented, and they just they take the whole project and do it from the very start to the very end. And if they explained exactly what you want from them, they over-deliver. and they work all hours. They really are amazing, and I respect that. And I think because I respect it, they can see it and they feel it, and they, just knowing different cultures and how people work, what makes people appreciate it, what makes them feel good, then they can put that effort to make me feel good. Because I always say it's a teamwork. It's not one person making another do something. It's completely two way. So I'm trying to, again, when I talk to young people, I say always find the positive, the strongest skill, and use that and appreciate it, and then the rest of it will just follow.
Wonderful.
So I think that's the biggest difference.
Sure. And the time you said you spent a long summer here in the U.S. Tell us about that experience, as far as, what were you exploring and what were you thinking as far as business for the future?
Well, we've seen lots of properties. And we've seen family houses. We've seen commercial properties. I've been taking my daughter with me everywhere, and she was like, "Mommy, look at this. That's strange." I was like, "Well, different countries have different, I don't know, different things, I would say, that we would find." But also because we've been living in the Canary Islands in Spain. We've been, we know our sort of roots and family in Poland. We know, now we've been to America and we've learned new things. We've been to Florida, we've been to Illinois, Chicago. So we've been in so many places, and there are differences everywhere. But what I really like is taking the little nuggets that I can reapply and readjust. For example, if I'm renovating a house right now in Europe, I would bring things from, if I do a project in the UK, for example, I would bring things like windows, doors, any of the modern technologies that are used in Europe or Northern Europe, for example, because I know they will stop all the cold, all the drafts. They're super efficient and they're not more expensive. So if you know how to find the right suppliers, of course, I would just ship them across the world if it's needed. But on the other hand, I know that it will be completely useless in Spain, where in the Canaries you've got the subtropical Sahara, degrees hot weather. But then again, they all have the solar energy. They've got the wind power. They've got it's a completely different set of skills, different world. But knowing where to find them, you can very easily pick up. And now everything can be shipped. Everything can be DHL. Everything can be, I've been sending towel rails to Canada because they just the way it is, so the world is just so small. I think looking at different countries and different cultures and what people are trying to achieve is giving me lots of good ideas to use cross countries or cross even continents at the moment. So I'm just enjoying it so much. I'm enjoying the experience and the learning, and it's such a steep a learning curve as well. So yeah, it's brilliant. And of course, being in contact with Frank McKinney, I'm just learning the entire different world of creating, of looking at things and trying to incorporate some of that, because I do want every property to be a piece of art. It's not just white walls and brick and mortar. That's not where I want to be. I want them to be that kind of wow factor.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So you're a real estate artist in the making.
Oh, completely.
I love it. Just like Frank. He's going to get a copy of this, by the way.
I think, do you know what? But it is, at the end, we have to have some role models. Right. And you have to decide, who you want to become, who you want to follow. And some of the things work better and just resonate. And I do feel that where there is energy, where you feel that kind of connection, you really have to build a strength on it.
Right. Right. That's beautiful. And I think that's such a great point to take home, everyone. Make sure you're writing this down or replay this so you'll remind yourselves. Joanna, I know that we are going to sort of wrap up soon, but this is the part of the chat that I call the rapid fire. So basically I have maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 questions that I'll ask you. And the whole objective is to just answer whatever comes to the top of your head. No overthinking it. And if there's something that you prefer not to answer, it's perfectly fine. You just tell me to pass and I'll go on to the next one. Are you okay with that?
Of course, go ahead. Absolutely. I'm up for a challenge.
Okay, good. Now, these are fun, though. These questions, I try to think of them so that we get a little bit of another, insight into who you are as a human being, which you're absolutely lovely. And I'm just so happy that we're doing this. Okay, question number 1. Joanna, what is your definition of happiness?
I think giving is it brings happiness when you can share your experience and your happiness with others. So yes, anytime you can pass something on to other people, like knowledge, experience, a bit of fun, a bit of laughter, a bit of anything, and share it with others, that is happiness for me for sure.
Oh, that's lovely. I knew it was going to be something beautiful. Ooh, this is a good one. What advice would you give, say, your daughter? She says, "Mommy, I want to change the world. I want to make it better." What advice would you give her on how to do that?
Listen to your heart. Definitely. She wants to save all animals in the world. She wants to be a vet and make better by saving all animals in the world. And I think that if she listens to her heart, and I would say, make yourself as good or as best as you can at what you want to do. And no matter what it is, if you follow your calling, your heart, your intuition, you will make the change in the world. And I think everybody will make the change in a different way, but you have to do what drives you, what makes you happy, because that energy resonates. And if you do something for the wrong reason, people won't get it. They just won't feel that. And I think that's when you make people feel that energy and that calling, that's where you will make a big change.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. I can see that the people that you coach, I can see how much that they get from you, right? Like you just give it all.
Completely. That's the way, if I believe and I believe in them, they just get it, because I think people have the lack of belief kills most of the dreams, the fear of what if. And I think that if I tell them, listen, you just have to try, and you have to do what you feel that you should do, and I will help you. Of course, I will help you as much as I can. And if something doesn't work, we'll try it again in a different way, and we'll make it work. Just if we believe that we'll make it work, we will make it work.
Exactly.
We'll find a way.
And that's
where
exactly
there's a will, there is a way. That was the motto of my boat. Where there's a will, there is a way.
That's how we started this interview. You have to, sorry, I'm shaking the screen. We have to make it happen. And we don't always have all the information or the tools yet, but we can get them. We can learn them. We can get coached so that we have them. So again, 100%, I'm with you. Where there's a will, there is a way. Let me
just give you one more thought on that one. This is where I believe, lots of people say, I can't buy my house, I have to rent forever, the landlords are awful, I can't. I said, well, you can. This is exactly where I say, I show you that you can own your house, you can be in your own place, you can make it home for yourself. It's possible. There is no such a way as you can't.
I love it.
I believe that
Absolutely.
everybody can, for me, it's all about houses and homes, because houses or properties make homes. And again, as a woman, family life and having your own home and being at home, it's the most happy feeling. It really is that happy feeling. So the definition of happiness, I think, is being at home in a safe place, surrounded by people that are happy with you, or you can make them happy anyway.
And sharing that, like you said initially, you share that.
Completely.
That happiness is contagious, isn't it?
Completely. Yeah,
Okay.
energy, belief, happiness. Yeah, we'll make it happen.
100%. This is why we're here, Joanna. Let's do one final question. What is one healthy habit that you just, for yourself, just something that you do for you, you just can't live without it? What is that one healthy habit?
Yoga. Absolutely yoga. And I will tell you even more, which makes most of my friends laugh. Breathing. You have to breathe. And for me, breathing is the most important thing in the world. You can't live without breathing. And I keep saying that because, of course, I teach yoga. So I teach people how to breathe. And that sounds absolutely very funny. But you can breathe it the right way, and you can breathe the wrong way. If you breathe the wrong way, you don't get all the benefits of good breathing. So I meditate, I sit straight, I walk straight, I line my spine. I do all sorts of things that yoga people do, but I also breathe. And I think good, healthy eating and good breathing, I mean, deep breaths, meditation, they're absolutely the key. I also like CBD. I'm really sorry, but I'm addicted. So I think that if you choose the right supplements, and not all of them work for everybody, you have to get advice, learn, educate yourself, and try and see what works for you. I mean, I can't swear by the benefits of what we're getting, and we never get ill, we never get colds, we never get flus. We always have lots of energy. You don't really need all the artificial things if you listen to your body and you align with the nature, and you listen to what your body needs and support it in the right way. So yeah,
absolutely.
breathing and lots of water and lots of good food, it's really good. The more you eat good quality, the better it is for you. I work with people on staying healthy.
Absolutely.
So
I think another reason why we connected, of course, as a CBD educator and as a CBD coach, it is true. I mean, this is, and thank you. I didn't even know we were going to go here, but
I
it
live
is,
by it.
right? But it is true. I focus in the world of hemp CBD for various reasons. 20% of the population is actually allergic to cannabis and THC. I'm one of those people. So for me, my journey was discovering what works for me. And like you said, everybody is different. So the number one thing as a CBD educator, if nothing else, if people don't remember anything else, the number one thing that they should remember is it affects everyone differently. So the best way, if you haven't ever tried hemp CBD, is you start low and slow. And you figure out what works for you, whether it's tinctures or gummies, whatever it is, the same methodology should be applied. Low and slow until you get to your particular exact sweet spot, right? You kind of know where you're, and it is, there are CBD advocates, there are CBD coaches like myself, there are CBD therapists. So there's a whole world out there designed to support that process. So thank you for bringing that up. I love it.
I would add to it one more thing, that get good quality, because sometimes it might not work, not because it doesn't work for you, but because it doesn't have that kind of active ingredients that might have expired, might have, like there's so much on the internet, stuff brought from China. But by the time that, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but by the time it gets shipped over here, the active ingredients are no longer active. So you really have to learn about it.
Yes.
And
And
also
read your
some
label.
of the, exactly. Or talk to somebody who knows. Talk to somebody who knows. That's it.
Right.
About everything in life. I would say find the person who knows the most and learn from that person.
Exactly.
And I always look for the best of the best and try to draw the best out of what works for me.
Exactly. 100%. I agree with you so much. And I know that we're going to wrap up here, but before I let you go, I know that you launched something very recently that you're really excited about. I'd love for you to share with everyone what that is. And then also, how do people connect with you if they're looking for, the process on how to buy their first home with no money down? Obviously, they should connect with you.
Completely. Well, I've launched a new challenge, which is it's brand new, and basically it allows people to buy their first home this year. Some people might be a bit more enthusiastic and take less time. Some people might have other, I don't know, life going in a way and will take longer, but it will take 12 months for me to coach every person who wants to be coached and show them that by the end of the year, they will definitely buy their own house. And I will take you from, I don't believe it's, I don't have any money, I have no deposit, I will never save, whatever, to the point where you actually find out what strategy you're going to use, find the right home for you, because selecting the right property is very important as well. Then we will go through the financing of it, and then you put an offer, and I will hold your hand all the way until that offer gets accepted, and you will be good to get the finance and to go through with your solicitors, with your lawyers, to go through the motions of actually getting the keys, because that's the, oh my God, that's makes the day. If you want to get a hold of me, just Google Joanna Whittaker. I've got my website. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Clubhouse. Everywhere really. Google Joanna Whittaker, or go to myhomechallenge.com, and that will bring you to the website.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you for spending part of your evening. I don't want to take you away from your family any longer and all the things that you need to do, because it's close to, the end of the day. You're wrapping things up. Thank you so much for your time today, Joanna. I just love talking to you. Thank you.
I know we could be talking all night and it wouldn't be enough. We've got so much in common, but thank you for having me on the I love talking to you. I love talking to you, Chandler.
I know. And it was so, I think it's so lovely because, when you are looking to buy your first home, you are building something from the ground up, right? Today's topic was more about having this vision and the dream and being able to do it with someone who can show you how to do just that. We talk about all different things, like I mentioned before, but I think today, at the very least, people are getting an idea that there is someone out there, her name is Joanna Whittaker, who is willing to help you buy your first home with or without any money down. Sounds impossible, but it's not.
It can be done. Thank you very much, Carmen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joanna. Thank you for your time. I will talk to you soon.
Completely. Thank you.
Bye-bye. And thank you all so much for spending your time with us today. I hope that you got some of this energy and passion from Joanna in how to be able to create a home for yourself. And she teaches you how to do it. And I think the key thing here to remember is with or without any money down. If nothing else, I think when we learn from those others that are actually doing something that we want to do, or they are similar to, you want to become like someone else, and to be able to have these conversations and share them with you, that brings me happiness. So I appreciate you every time that you watch and share and comment on these from the ground up chats. I think, as you all know, I believe in the transformational success. And I believe that it is also, like Joanna, I believe that anything's possible if you set your mind to it, if you want it with all your heart and are willing to do the work, whatever it takes. I think anything is possible. Thank you for joining us and coming back time after time. And I think the other takeaway from today is you have to have that passion within and that belief within so that others can see it. Once they see it, then you can build your team around you that helps you accomplish what you want to do. Thank you for helping me accomplish what I want to do, and that is share this information as often as I can with as many people as possible. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Carmen Milagro, and this is From the Ground Up. See you soon. Bye, everyone.